Hello everyone, in this episode of my tutorial series in creating your 3D platformer, we will be building out a complex quest system that can be used across all your projects, not just this one. It's important that we build out this one correctly so that we can use it in multiple instances, even for a simple platformer like ours. So in this episode, I'll be taking you over setting up the quests, the structures and such, in setting up our system, and then starting to implement it with a quest giver like here. So if I walk up to him and press F, you can see in the top left there it prints the string first quest. And that is what we set up in our data tables. So let me show you that. So if I come over to our quests folder, open it up. You can see here in our data quests, our data table, we've got our first quest with all this interaction in it. And it's a multi-layered, multi-setup system that allows us to quickly add quests into our game, and it will go a bit more complex as we go along, but that's going to be it for this, so look forward to it. So let me show you how easily we can get this implemented into your game. So let's get started. Cool, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to come to our blueprints folder and we're going to create a new folder called quest system. And in here, we're going to create a new blueprint class of actor type, and this is going to be quest base, right? So open that up, and in here, we're just going to create one variable for now called quest ID. And this will be of the type name. So when we create our data table with all the quests in it, it will reference the name because the data table uses names for their rows. So just make sure that's a name, compile and save. And next we need to set up a few structures which handle the quest details as well as how the quest is structured. So I'm back over this content browser, go to blueprints, go to structure and s_quest details, right? And in here, so a structure is just basically like a table that holds like a bunch of variables so that we can access just this and get all access to the variables that we need. So on the first one, we're going to go quest name. I'm going to make this a text. Then we're going to come and get the long description. So this will be if we check our quest log, we will then get to see this long description, which is also going to be a text. And then we'll get a short description, which will be if we say, for instance, pull up our HUD to check the current quest quickly, it will give us the short description to tell us what we're doing. And then we need one more that says is main quest, and this is going to be a boolean, and this is just to tell us if it's a main quest or not, right? Cool. Now we need another one. So blueprint structure, and we're going to get this as S stage details. So what this is for is basically when we're building out our quests, we want it to be in stages. So this is just so that in the future we can have multiple stages of the quest. So what I mean is, let's say we're playing Tomb Raider and our first objective is to find the tomb, right? So that will be stage 1 of the quest. The second part is to delve into the tomb. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is to fight the boss of the room. Stage 4 is to collect the treasure. So that's essentially what these stage details are for. So open these up and we're going to change a couple variables here. One is going to be stage name, just so we can identify what is happening, make this a text. The description, so obviously it's pretty descriptive, description, what we're doing at this stage, the objectives, and then we're gonna have the reward. So for us, we've only got currency so far, so we're gonna put a currency reward. So if at some point in the future we have, let's say, costumes, we can add a quest reward here saying we've unlocked this costume, but for now we're just going to make it a currency. Okay, so now we need one more thing, which is going to be our objective details, which is part of this variable here, right? So go back to your content browser, create another struct, I'm going to call this S objective details. And the first one is going to be objective name. It'll be of type text as well. Then we're going to do description. And then we're going to do objective ID. And this will be a type of string. So when we're checking against our objectives, this system, the way we're building it out, will check this ID against our objectives to see whether they're complete or not, or whether we've achieved them. So that is why we're using a string. It's just simpler that way. Next, we'll do quantity. So this will be of type integer, and this will be, for example, we need to collect 3 magic jars. So we need to tell the game, okay, we need to collect 3 quantity of magic jars. And we need one which is optional, and this will be a type of boolean. So this will just say you don't have to complete this, it's just a bonus. And then we'll need one called type. So this will be of also, oops, can't spell, of type text for now. We will change it a bit later, but this will be if it's a kill quest or if it's a collect quest, we'll set this type to be of what we need it to be. Okay, so now that we've got this, we can go back to our stage details, and this objectives here we can now change to that s_objectives, right here, objective details. And you want to make this an array because we're going to have a lot of different types of quests in here, so we need to be able to add more than just one, so that's why the array exists. And then come back to your quest details, and we're going to add the stages here so that our quests have multiple stages if we want, and this will be of type S stages, stage details. There we go. Yeah, just make sure it's an array. I almost forgot. Okay, so now you'll see that we had this type which I set to text. We now need to make this variable so that in our quest system we can choose what type of quest we're going to do. So let's set that up. Open up your content browser. Okay, so right click, go blueprint and create an enumeration, right? So we're going to call this enum underscore objective type, right? And in here we're going to add 4 enumerations. And these will be our different kill quests. So first we'll have a kill, so kill a certain number of guards. Then we'll have a location, go to this place, interacts. This will be like if we need to open a certain door or something, then we can do this interact quest. And then a collect quest, which is really self-explanatory. Go collect 10 of this thing or whatever. So back to your objective details, you now want to come over to text and get the enum objective I can't spell, objective type, right? And click save. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create the data table so we can start building out our quest. So just save everything and come over to your content browser, go to miscellaneous and find data table, right? And now it will ask you to pick a row structure, and you just want to get quest details, S quest details. Click OK. Name this DT quest. Let's put DT quests. Open it up, and you'll see on the left here we've got all these different little things here that will say our quest name, our long description, short description, main quest, stages, right? So if we now go and add a new row, you'll get to see that we get to add our stuff here. So let's just name this quest name and go call it first quest, right? And the long description, this is my first quest system and it's super exciting. Then short description, My first quest. Is it a main quest? Hell yeah, it is. Then we're going to add stages, so just click add element, and you'll see that now we start to get building out our stages, right? So let's just say we're going to name the quest locate thing. Locate thing. Find the thing. And now we're going to add an objective, and you'll get to see we get to expand on everything. So our quests all build together. So the objective name is going to be find thing on stage, and that'll be the same for our description. And objective ID is going to be let's make it a location test 01, right? And we're gonna only have one of the quests, so that's fine. And we're gonna have, is it optional? No, we're gonna make it a location quest. So kill, location, interact. Okay, we're gonna make a location. And currency reward will say 50, right? So now we've built out our first quest, and now we can save it. Now we need to change the row name so that it's easily identifiable for ourselves. And this is where you need to think about how you want your quest system set up. So easiest way to probably do it is by number structures. So have all your main quests start with the number 0 or 1 or something. All your side quests start with 2, and so forth and so forth. So for this, we're going to name it 000 or 10001, and then we'll say if we had another quest, it would be 10002, depending on how many quests. If you have 10,000 quests, you're obviously going to want to change this, but that's fine for now. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to add all the variables to our quest base here, right? So come back to your quest base, and the first thing you're going to do is get quest details. And the reason we created this blueprint is we're going to add it to our actors, so let's say our quest givers, and they will then be able to get all this detail and give us the quest, right? So we're just going to type in s quest details for that one. Then we're going to get our current stage, so which stage of the quest we're on, and that's going to be a integer. So if we come back to let's go to the data table, so that will be this quantity here, right? So that we know that we've completed this specific thing. Okay, now we go to current stage details. That's gonna be of stage details, yeah, like that. Okay, so this is actually, sorry, the index of the quests. So as I explained before how indexes work, if we have multiple stages, for example here we've got index 0, then we add another quest, we've got index 1, and another quest, index 2. That is what that this current stage is actually going to count. Then we need our current objective detail progress, and this is going to be a string, and we're going to change this to a map with integer, right? So if we come over to where we built out where did I put it, this objective ID, that is what this is going to check against. So we're going to check against this string here to see what if we've reached this objective, and if it is, then we're done. Okay, and that's going to, remember, this is going to be a map and of type integer because we're going to check it. And then we just need one more, which is complete, to see whether the quest is complete or not. Don't worry about this error, it's just because you can't map a boolean, I don't think. Yeah, you can't. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to create a component that will go into our player so that that keeps track of our current quests and so forth. So go to blueprint class, actor component, and call this BPC quest log. Open that up, and we're going to create a couple of variables. So we're going to call this first one current active quests and make it a name and an array. So what we want is basically when we're tracking all of our quests, it will go into an array so we can have more than one. So then we're going to need another one and go completed quests. Also be an array because we can have multiples. Then we're gonna add another variable here, call it tracked quest, right? And this will be our currently tracked quest. This system we're setting up currently only allows for one, but if you wanted to do multiple, you could probably set it to an array. And then we're gonna have our list of current quests, which comes from our BP quest. Ooh, no, I gotta call it quest base. I should probably rename that so it fits in our structure properly. Let's do that quickly. BP quest base. Yeah, okay. You'll see it updates here as well. Okay, so we just need to make sure that this is an array as well, as we're going to be holding multiple quests. Okay, so now we need to create a function about adding the quests. So let's do that now. Go to function, add new function. We're going to go add a new quest, right? And it's going to have an input, and this will be our quest ID. And this will be our type name. And remember, we set up the quest ID here. So that's what we'll be adding to. So get your current active quests, drag out here and go add unique. So we're doing add unique specifically because we don't want duplicate quests. Let's say we had a duplicate of a quest giver. We don't want them to give us the same quest. So this just checks that it's a unique one, and then we will get to add it. So from here, we're going to go spawn actor of class. And we're gonna go BP quest base, right? Okay, so we need to go change something in our quest base. So go to your quest base and go to your quest ID and make this instance editable and expose on spawn. So basically every time we put this quest on an actor, it's unique. So come here and right click and go refresh node. Oh, sorry, I forgot to compile and save. Now go ahead and refresh the node and you'll get this quest ID. So we just want to drag in like so, and we can reload. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to, if we compile this now, it's going to give us an error asking for transform. So just right click and go split struct, and that, because we're never going to see this thing in the world, that's perfectly fine the way it is. And now we need to add it to our quest logs. So get your current quests, drag out, and go add. And because we've already got this add unique, we don't need to do add unique again. So just do it like that. And if you click compile and save, the error should go away. Okay. So we need to create a couple more functions now. We're going to add a complete quest, which we will code in a bit. Then we're going to get a query active quest query. And this is just going to check that if we have it in the in our quest log, right? So what we need to do is get our current active quests and go as contains item, and we just need a quest ID here, quest ID. So this is just to double check that we don't already have this quest and it's not our currently active quest. So just drag out here and get a return node and drag this into here and you'll get this return value, right? And make this a pure cast because we're just reading information. We don't want to execute anything. Just whenever we call this function, it's going to be whatever's currently active, right? And one more called tracked quest. Okay, so for now this is fine. So just click compile and save. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create the actor component for the quest giver, right? So we're going to put this in as BPC quest giver. Open that up, and we're going to add a function called a variable called quest data, and this will be of type data table row handle, like that. So once you click compile, you'll come over to this quest data and just choose our data table quests, right? And then you'll see if we click row, we'll get what we created here, which is this one, right? So every time we add this, we can then change this, right? So just make it instance editable and expose on spawn. Okay, so now that we're done with this, we're going to go to our interact interface that we created earlier in the previous tutorials, and we're just going to add some more functions here, right? So we're going to add a new function called interact with, or interacted with, and look at. And this is basically just telling us who we interacted with, and the look at will make us rotate towards the quest giver. Okay, so what we need to do now is go to our interacted with, and we're going to add an output, and we're going to call this our objective ID, right? And then a string so that we can interact with this objective ID over here, right? So that's why we make it the same. So what we need to do then is go to our quest giver and go to class settings, and we're going to add this BPI interact to the component, right? Because we want this functionality of interacted with. So if we double click, you'll see we'll get this new function with our objective ID. Okay, so what we're going to do is come over to our player blueprint, open this up, and we're going to add the BPC quest log to it, right? So now we have this here. So you'll see we have current active quests, complete quests, and tracked quest on the right here, right? So compile and save. That's all we need for now. Okay, so we're going to come over here and get my player character. And from here, we're going to go get quest log. So if you don't have this, there should be a video dropping at the same time as this one, just creating this function, right? So get your quest log, then we're going to drag that here and get a query active quest, right? And we're going to get a branch, connect this like this. We're going to make this a not bool. So basically we're checking that we don't currently have this quest, and just copy this like this and add like that. And from here we're going to get our quest data, and we're going to split the struct, and then we've got this quest row name, which is going to just plug it straight into there. And now we need the quest IDs, so we're going to right click and get the owner, and basically what this is going to say is in the system we're going to check who the owner is to give us this quest, right? And that will be our ID. So get display name, and then we can connect this up like that and have it like that. Okay, so what we need to do next is we need to come to our player blueprint and actually do a trace to check if we are interacting with any character that lets us interact. Let's just comment this from our last one, which is the game menu. So game menu widget. Okay, and that's fine. Put that there. Okay, so we're going to create a new function, and we're going to call this trace for interaction, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do a sphere trace by channel, and we're going to get actor location, put that to the start, and then we'll go get actor forward vector and times that by a float. Right click on it, make it a float. Let's say 200, and then we'll add this together with this to get the end, and make the radius say 20. We should probably make a new channel for this, as we're going to receive a problem. So let's do that now. So go to edit, project settings, and under all settings, let's go trace channel, new trace channel, and we'll make this interact. Yeah, that should be fine. And set it to Should the default be ignore? Now let's just leave it as block for now, so that's fine, right? We can always change that later. So come to your trace channel, you might have to refresh this node. Yep, and now we've got interact. So if our NPC is under this interact channel, then we'll get an response. So set this for duration, just so that we can make sure it's working. And then we need to go out from here and get a branch and break the out hit results, right? So we need to then go from the hit actor and go does implement interface, and we'll put the interact BPI interact, right? The one that we had from the previous tutorials and the one that we added on here with the interact with and look at, right? So we gotta check if we hit something. If we do, great. Then we gotta check if it implements this interface. If it does, great. Then we can get this hit actor and promote it to a variable, and we'll call this hit actor. That's fine actually. Okay, so what we need to do now is we don't want to store this actor at all times, because we might then like be able to interact across the map, for instance, and let's not do that. So come to your false here and set the hit actor as nothing, and then go to the same with the false here, right? Great. So now we just need to implement this trace for interaction. So go to your event graph, look for the event tick, just so we can check. Here's the event tick, add a new pin, and we'll call this trace for interaction. Okay, and click compile and save. So let's just check that it's working. Go to play, and you can see we've got a trace out 200 in front of us, which is plenty long. Great. So now we can go back and turn off the draw for debug, and now we just gotta find our interact button, which is over here. So let's move this over, and let's go from here, and we're gonna get this actor, and if we're going to convert it to a validated get. So basically this checks that in our trace, this is actually got a value. If it doesn't, it means it's not valid, right? And from here, we can just go interact with to get that message. Okay, I forgot something. So come back to your trace for interactions, drag off from your hit actor that is set, and go look at, and you'll get a look at message, right? So just so when we implement this interface, we will then call this, right? So go back here. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to create a new event dispatcher. So we'll click here and call this call objective, I can't spell, ID, and we'll click here, add a new variable, and we'll call this objective ID. And remember, it's a string, so just change this to a string and drag this out and click call and connect these like these, right? Okay, from here we need to create the NPC that will give us our quest. So just come over to your content browser, go back to your quest folder, and we'll just create a new blueprint class character, and we'll call this BP quest giver underscore 001, right? Open them up, and we're gonna add a mesh here. I'm just gonna give it the Manny Quinn, yeah, that's fine. 90, just make sure it's all correct. Give it a thing, and let's just give it a change of material, just so that we can tell it apart. So why is there no material here? There it is. Okay, so we'll go here and let's duplicate it and call this MI Quinn quest giver, and we'll just change the tint to be turquoisey blue, right? Save, close this out, and just change this to quest giver. So now we know visually That's different. So we need to add the PC quest giver component to the character. And now you can see we can get the quest data and give them the quest here. So let me just show you something quickly. If we put this character out into the world, let's do that now. Quests, quest giver, let's put the quest giver over here, right? And let's say we have 2 quest givers, right? And they're supposed to each give us something different, right? If we set it here, right? This character will always have this quest. And that's not a per basis. So if we had one master quest giver and then we make like children of that, we'd then encounter that problem, right? So if we come over to our quest giver 2, you can see we've got on the right side here BBC quest giver. Here we can see that the row name is now visible. And the reason for this is when we set it up earlier, we made the quest data instance editable and exposed on spawn. So it's probably just the instance editable, but when we did that, it allowed us to now go into the world and set the quest. So if we had a second quest, so let's open up DT quests, add a second one and just call this 10002. We don't need to fill in any data for now, it's just a test. If we go here, you can now see we've got 10002, right? So that's what that is for. So what we need to do now is we need to come back here and we need to add the interact interface to the character so we can actually interact with it. So go to class settings, type in BPI interact, right? So now we can interact with the character. But let's delete the second one, we don't need it now. Delete, hello, delete. Oh gosh, not deleting. Oh, it's because I'm interacting with that rather than that. Okay, there we go. Okay. So let's give this character our first quest. And so that when we interact with them, we've always got this quest. Okay. So we need to also double check quickly that if we go to our capsule component, our collision presets, you'll see we've got an interacted with, make sure it's blocked. So if we go to custom, you'll see it's blocked so that when we interact with the character, we're actually getting feedback to our line trace. So sphere trace. So what we need to do next is we need to go to our NPC and we need to do the interacted with, right? So we're going to drag out from the quest giver component and we're going to get this interacted with. And you'll see it's this one with the yellow target pin. So just connect this here and connect this like this. Okay, so now that we're done with this, what we're going to do is we need to add some additional code to our quest giver. So come over to your quest giver and you'll see that we've done this interacted with function. We need to add onto this. So let's create a new function here called display quest. And this will essentially say that when we interact with the NPC, this will happen, right? So for now, let's just go ahead and type print string. So what you want to do is you want to drag in your quest data afterwards. You want to right click and split it. And then from the quest data table row, go get data table row. That's this one down here, right? And just row name will be to row name. And then we'll connect this up to here. And row found will be to there. And we'll go break quest details. And we'll just get the quest name and we'll put it here, right? So basically, if I minimize this now, this NPC we know has the quest of 001. So if we interact with them, we should get feedback on our screen that it's 001. So let's just double check what I made our input for. Interact F, right? So let's check if that works. So here we are. Go over to our character, press F. And nothing happens. Why? Okay, so I found the problem. It's something I forgot. So I forgot to implement the function once we started it, right? So just saw in the speed up was me fiddling with everything. So just make sure that your debugs are off and everything, and then come back over to your BBC quest giver. So we created this display function, this display quest function, but I didn't implement it. It's my mistake. So come over here to your interacted with function, and after the true, just call display quest, right? Just like that. So if we compile and save, and now go check. We walk up to our character, which you can see here, press F, first quest, which is what we called in the data table, first quest, right? So let's go ahead and save everything, and we can test it one more time. So go over to our character, wherever our character is looking, press F, first quest. So that's going to be the first part of the quest tutorial. Next, we will go over the interfaces and actually getting the quest set up and everything. This was just to get us started, and hopefully the next video won't be so long until it's out. We should be able to get this done fairly soon. But for now, this is this episode, and that's how quickly and easily we can start building our quest system. So look forward to the next.